Embassy Office Parks reported its second quarter earnings, and they reported revenue from operations of about 520 crores, net operating income of about 430 crores for the second quarter, which was up by about 16% So the CEO of the company, Mr. Michael Holland, is there with us to talk to us more about their second quarter earnings. Mr. Holland, so good set of numbers put out by you. Could you talk to us about the quarter gone by in terms of both operations and financials? Also, how was the leasing performance during the quarter and occupancy numbers as well?
Great. Well, thank you and good morning. I think the numbers speak for themselves. It's been another strong quarter for Embassy REIT. That top line revenue, 520 crores, is up 15% year on year. Our NOI is up 16%, and the distributions that the board approved, the distribution is at 463 crores. That'll be paid by the 26th of this month. Those numbers reflect the strong underlying business. In the last quarter, we again leased close to 600,000 square feet. That means that over the course of this year, the 2 quarters since listing, we've listed 1.2 million square feet to some really high quality tenants. And we've got a very strong forward pipeline as well. So it's a good quarter gone by, and we're in good shape for the coming 2 quarters.
Okay, so how were the MTM escalations during the quarter, and any large tenants that you inducted during the quarter gone by?
Yeah, so MTM, or mark to market, is a highlight of our portfolio in the sense that the average rental across the whole portfolio, I believe, now sits at 66 rupees, whereas the average market rental across the 4 locations in which we operate is at 86 rupees per square feet. So that means that every time a lease comes to an end and we execute on a new lease, we're able to achieve what we call that mark to market, which is close to 30%. Last quarter, we achieved a mark to market on 900,000 square feet of new leasing, and that was at 67% mark to market. So it can be extremely high depending on which leases come up for renewal. The great performance last quarter, that 67%, was heavily influenced by a new deal that we did at Embassy Golf Links in Bangalore that achieved more than a 200% mark to market, but 67% was the overall average. It's something that if you look at the investor deck that's there on our website, you can see we've achieved those mark to markets over the last 4 to 5 years, and we continue to deliver on that. In terms of new tenants, last quarter we signed up 10 new leases. That's that 595,000 square feet. Again, in our investor deck, you'll see that included companies like Google and NTT Dell, as well as some good, strong domestic companies like L&T Infotech and so on. But 10 new tenants last quarter, and as I mentioned, that means that year to date, we've leased up 1.2 million square feet.
Mr. Holland, pardon me if I missed it, but what were the distributions given for the unit holders during the quarter? And SEBI mandates twice a year distribution, and you've already given it twice this financial year. So in the coming 2 quarters, do we expect you to give these distributions again, or is it done for the year?
Okay, so let me deal with the second part of your observation first. So yes, SEBI mandate under the REIT regulations is that a REIT pays on a 6-monthly basis. At the time of our IPO, we said to the market that we would go one step further, that we would distribute on a quarterly basis. We plan to continue doing that. You're right, we have already distributed in Q1, and we will be before the 26th of this month distributing in Q2. That will bring our distributions for year to date to 880 crores. It is certainly envisaged that we will continue to distribute on a quarterly basis. So one can reasonably expect that there will be a Q3 and Q4 distribution as well.
Mr. Holland, you've released a new valuation report with NAV standing at roughly 375 rupees per unit, which is currently at a discount of 6% to the closing price of November 11. So what are the major highlights of this valuation report and the rationale behind it?
So the valuation, again, that is a requirement under the SEBI regulations, and I think we've said many times we believe that those regulations taken in their totality are an excellent way in which all unit holders and investors' interests are protected. One of the ways in which we're regulated is with a SEBI requirement to have an independent valuation executed every 6 months. Being 2 quarters after our listing, on the 30th of September, we had that first valuation. That showed an increase of approximately 4% in NAV. And so, yes, we are trading at a premium to NAV. Where does that increase in valuation come from? Effectively, it's from the strong leasing as we lease up more premises, as we take vacant premises and convert them effectively into income-produced leasing premises, as we build and deliver new premises within our campuses under our new development, and we've got 1.4 million square feet coming over the next few months. But as we build new premises and as we lease up those premises, as we achieve our mark to market, all of those factors come together to increase the value of the underlying asset base. And so that is reflected every 6 months in the ongoing independent valuation.
Mr. Holland, WeWorks is one of your clients, so have you seen any impact because of the valuation debacle there?
So first off, what I would say about the co-working industry as a whole is we like co-working spaces on our business parks. Our business proposition to our tenants, and we've got 165 of them, 80% of them are international companies, high quality, sophisticated companies. We offer a proposition, what we call the total business ecosystem. So in our large scale business parks, we provide amenities, we provide hotels, creches, childcare, food courts, and so on. We see co-working as another piece of that amenity jigsaw in that total business ecosystem. So we like the co-working concept. We have, I think, 4 different co-working operators as tenants within our different properties across the country. Today, that accounts for a little bit over 1%. I think it's 1.2% of our total revenue base, which clearly is a very small part of the total whole. We would like to see that percentage increase so that we can add to the total business ecosystem in the parks. So it's a small proportion, but we see it as a great amenity that gives flexibility to our tenants. What tends to happen is that a tenant will operate from one of those co-working spaces, and as they grow, they tend to grow within your existing premises and within your existing parks. So we welcome that. We haven't seen any negative impact or material impact on our business as a result of what's going on or what has gone on in New York with regards to WeWork globally. Of course, the WeWork business in India is operated under a separate independent business arrangement between Embassy, who's a sponsor of our REIT, and WeWork. So it's delinked, it's a different business here as we understand it. But indeed, that is a different business from Embassy REIT and independent of it.
Mr. Holland, one last question. What are the upcoming projects and what kind of portfolio additions are you looking at going ahead, let's say in next 2 years?
Okay, so our near-term development we have approximately 1.4 million square feet that's at advanced stages of construction to date. In fact, two of those projects are at least 2 quarters ahead of schedule. And of course, the advantage of bringing projects forward is that once I lease them, I'm able to bring that income stream forward. So one could expect that that would have a positive impact on the timing of the revenue. So that's our 1.4 million square feet. Those projects are in Noida and in Bangalore. Within that 1.4, we've got about 23% of those properties are now pre-committed to incoming tenants. We've got a strong pipeline of another 400,000 square feet for those properties in terms of pre-leasing discussions. So comfortable both on the timing and the lease up of those properties. We've got another 5.5 million square feet in total within the portfolio for development that we will add and bring forward. Different projects are at different stages of design, procurement, and early stage construction. We look at the market dynamics, the levels of vacancy. We talk to our existing tenant base, then we take a decision on how and when to bring those projects forward. But one of the great things and strengths that Embassy REIT has is that we're well capitalized, so that we've got a very strong balance sheet. Raising the necessary funds to bring forward that construction is something that we do in the normal course of our business. That gives us a competitive advantage in the market in terms of timing and delivery of premises.
Mr. Holland, thank you so much for joining us. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.